Barron Trump pays for single mom's cancer operation, leaving everyone in tears. The soft hum of the hospital's air conditioning and the occasional beep from a heart monitor were the only sounds filling the sterile, white-walled room. Amanda sat at the edge of her hospital bed, holding her two daughters close, her heart heavy with worry. She tried her best to smile for them, but the truth weighed on her shoulders like an anchor. The doctors had given her the diagnosis weeks ago, stage 2 cancer, and though there was hope for recovery, the treatment was far beyond her financial means. Amanda was a single mother who had always managed to make ends meet, but this was different. The cost of the surgery and follow-up care was overwhelming. She had spent sleepless nights agonizing over what to do, looking for loans and charitable assistance. But no matter how hard she tried, every door seemed to close on her. She had no one to turn to, and time was slipping through her fingers. Her daughters, Ava and Lily, looked up at her with innocent eyes, unaware of the storm brewing around them. "Mommy, will you get better soon?" Ava asked, her voice filled with pure, childlike hope. Amanda swallowed hard, forcing back the tears that threatened to spill. "Of course, sweetheart," she said softly. "I'll be just fine." But inside, her heart broke. She didn't know how to tell them that without help, she wouldn't be able to afford the surgery that could save her life. That was when fate intervened in the most unexpected way. It started with a routine visit to the hospital by Barron Trump. Known for his philanthropic efforts and low-profile good deeds, Barron often visited hospitals to lift the spirits of patients and support charitable causes. Unlike the media-frenzied charity galas attended by others, his visits were quiet, personal, and genuine. Barron walked through the pediatric ward with a warm smile, stopping to chat with children and their families. His calm, reassuring presence brought comfort to many. When he reached Amanda's room, he noticed the somber atmosphere immediately. "Good afternoon," Barron said gently as he stepped into the room. "Mind if I join you for a bit?" Amanda looked up, surprised. She recognized him immediately but was too stunned to speak. Ava and Lily, however, had no such hesitation. "Are you here to make Mommy feel better?" Lily asked, tilting her head curiously. Barron chuckled softly. "I hope so. What's your mommy's name?" "Amanda," Ava answered proudly. "She's the best mommy in the world." Barron's expression softened. He pulled a chair closer and sat down. "Amanda, if it's okay, tell me what's going on." At first, Amanda hesitated, unsure whether to open up to someone like him. But something about Barron's sincerity made her feel safe. Slowly, she explained her situation: the diagnosis, the surgery she couldn't afford, and the fear that had gripped her ever since. Barron listened carefully, his eyes never leaving hers. When she finished, he sat quietly for a moment, deep in thought. Then he looked at her daughters, his expression filled with compassion. "Your mommy is very brave," he said to them. "And brave people deserve a little help sometimes." He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his phone. "Amanda, do you trust me?" She blinked, confused but nodded. "I think so." "Good," Barron said, already typing out a message. "Because you're not going to have to worry about this anymore." Before Amanda could ask what he meant, Barron smiled and stood up. "Give me just a moment. I'll be right back." Amanda watched him leave, unsure of what had just happened. Moments later, he returned with a hospital administrator in tow. The administrator nodded at Barron, then turned to Amanda with a reassuring smile. "Ms. Rivera," he said, "I've just been informed that your entire treatment plan, including your surgery and follow-up care, will be fully covered. Courtesy of Mr. Trump." Amanda's breath caught in her throat. What do you mean?" Barron stepped closer, his expression warm but firm. "I mean, you don't have to worry about the cost anymore. It's taken care of. You focus on getting better, for yourself and for these two little ones." Tears welled up in Amanda's eyes, and for a moment, she was too overwhelmed to speak. Then, without thinking, she threw her arms around Barron, hugging him tightly. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Thank you so much. You don't know what this means to us." Barron hugged her back gently. "You're welcome, Amanda. Just promise me you'll fight with everything you've got." Amanda nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I will. I promise." Ava and Lily cheered, oblivious to the gravity of what had just happened but thrilled to see their mommy smiling again. News of Barron's generosity spread quickly through the hospital. Staff members and patients alike were moved by the story, many of them stopping by Amanda's room to offer their support and congratulations. The atmosphere, once heavy with uncertainty, was now filled with hope and gratitude. Barron didn't stay for long. He never liked being the center of attention, but before he left, he knelt down beside Ava and Lily. "Take good care of your mommy," he told them with a wink. "We will," Ava said, throwing her arms around his neck. "Promise to be brave for her," Barron added. "Promise," Lily echoed, giving him a thumbs up. With that, Barron rose to his feet and gave Amanda one last nod. "I'll check in on you soon," he said. "Take care." Amanda watched him walk out of the room, her heart full of gratitude and disbelief. The man who had just changed her life didn't ask for anything in return. No recognition, no spotlight. He had simply done what needed to be done, quietly and compassionately. Amanda sat on the edge of her hospital bed, still clutching her daughters tightly as the reality of what had just happened began to sink in. Her heart swelled with gratitude, and for the first time in what felt like forever, the weight pressing down on her chest started to lift. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but this time, they were tears of relief and hope. The hospital room was now filled with a renewed sense of optimism. Nurses who had overheard what had happened smiled at Amanda as they passed by, offering words of encouragement and congratulations. The gesture from Barron Trump wasn't just a financial lifeline, it was a message of hope to everyone around them. "You're going to be okay, Mommy," Ava whispered, resting her head on Amanda's shoulder. Lily nodded in agreement, her little fingers wrapped around her mom's hand. Amanda stroked their hair gently. "Yes, my loves. We're going to be okay. Someone very kind just gave us a second chance." But what Amanda didn't know was that Barron's act of generosity was only the beginning of a much bigger story. The next morning, Amanda's phone buzzed incessantly. Friends and family who had heard about what happened sent messages of love and support. Word of Barron's generosity had spread beyond the hospital walls, capturing the attention of local news stations. By the afternoon, a news crew was waiting outside Amanda's room, eager to share her story. "I'm not sure what to say," Amanda told the reporter as the camera rolled. "What Barron did for me, it's more than I ever could have imagined. He didn't just help me financially. He gave my girls their mother back. He gave me hope." The reporter leaned in, her eyes filled with empathy. "What would you say to Barron if you could speak to him now?" Amanda smiled softly. "I'd say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'd promise him that I'll make the most of this second chance." Meanwhile, Barron watched the news segment from his office, his expression thoughtful. His phone buzzed with dozens of messages from friends and colleagues praising his act of kindness. But Barron wasn't interested in the attention. For him, it had never been about making headlines. It had been about doing the right thing. "Sir," his assistant, Mark, said, stepping into the office. "We've received a flood of donation offers from people inspired by your gesture. They want to help other families in similar situations." Barron raised an eyebrow. "How much are we talking about?" "Close to $500,000 so far," Mark replied. "And it's growing by the hour." Barron leaned back in his chair, his mind already racing. "We can do something with this. Let's set up a fund, something permanent. We'll call it the Second Chance Initiative. I want it to focus on helping single parents facing medical crises. No red tape, no waiting lists. Just real help when they need it most." Mark grinned. "Consider it done." The Second Chance Initiative launched just weeks later, with Amanda's story as its heart and soul. Donations poured in from around the country, and soon, the fund had grown beyond anyone's expectations. Within the first month, the initiative had helped over a dozen families, covering medical expenses, providing housing assistance, and offering emotional support to those in need. Amanda became an ambassador for the initiative, speaking at events and sharing her journey. Her story resonated with people from all walks of life, those who had faced hardship and those who had never imagined such struggles. With every word she spoke, Amanda's voice grew stronger, more confident. She had found a purpose in her pain, a way to give back and help others the way she had been helped. One evening, as Amanda stood on stage at a fundraising gala for the initiative, she scanned the audience and saw Barron sitting in the front row, watching her with a quiet smile. "People often ask me what it's like to be given a second chance," Amanda said, her voice steady and clear. "It's overwhelming. It's humbling. And it's a responsibility. A second chance isn't just a gift, it's a call to action. It's a reminder to make every moment count." The audience erupted in applause, rising to their feet as Amanda finished her speech. She stepped down from the podium, her heart full, and walked toward Barron. "I don't think I'll ever be able to thank you enough," she said, her eyes brimming with tears. "You've already thanked me," Barron replied warmly. "And you've done more than that, you've inspired others. That's what this is all about." The Second Chance initiative continued to grow, expanding its reach and changing countless lives. Hospitals across the country partnered with the organization, and soon, other philanthropists joined the cause. What had started as one act of kindness became a movement, a testament to the power of compassion and community. And for Amanda, life slowly returned to normal. Her surgery was successful, and her health steadily improved. She found a new job that allowed her to spend more time with her daughters, who grew up knowing the true meaning of generosity and kindness. Years later, Ava and Lily would often talk about the day Barron Trump visited their mother in the hospital. For them, he wasn't just a public figure or a businessman. He was the man who saved their family, the man who believed in second chances. One sunny afternoon, Amanda and her daughters returned to the hospital for a follow-up appointment. As they walked through the halls, Ava tugged on Amanda's sleeve. "Do you think we'll see Mr. Barron again?" she asked hopefully. Amanda smiled. "Maybe. You never know." And just as they turned the corner, there he was, Barron, standing by the nurse's station, talking to a young boy who looked nervous and scared. Amanda and her daughters stopped in their tracks, watching as Barron knelt down to the boy's level, offering him the same calm reassurance he had once given them. In that moment, Amanda knew one thing for certain. Some people are born to change lives. And Barron Trump was one of them. Amanda stood frozen, watching Barron Trump speak softly to the young boy, offering him the same kind of comfort and hope he had once given her. It felt like déjà vu, a reminder of how far she had come since that life-changing day. Her daughters, Ava and Lily, were the first to break the moment, running toward Barron with excited smiles. "Mr. Barron," Ava called out, her little legs carrying her as fast as they could. Barron looked up, his face lighting up in recognition. He knelt down just in time for Ava and Lily to wrap their arms around him. "Hey, you two," Barron said with a warm laugh. "Look how big you've gotten." Amanda walked over, her heart swelling with gratitude once again. "We didn't expect to run into you today," she said, smiling. "But I'm glad we did." Barron stood up, giving Amanda a nod. "I like to stop by from time to time. There's always someone here who could use a little encouragement." Amanda glanced at the young boy Barron had been speaking with. The boy clutched a stuffed bear tightly, his eyes wide and a little anxious. Barron noticed her gaze. "This is Ethan," he explained. "He's about to have a big surgery. Feeling a little nervous, right, buddy?" Ethan nodded slowly, his grip tightening on the bear. Amanda crouched down beside him. "You know, Ethan, I was scared before my surgery too," she said gently. "But you know what helped me? Thinking about all the fun things I'd do once I felt better. Do you have something fun you like to do?" Ethan's eyes lit up just a little. "I like riding my bike," he whispered. "That's a great thing to think about," Amanda said. "Just imagine how fast you'll ride once you're all better. You'll be unstoppable." Barron smiled at Amanda's words, knowing firsthand how powerful those small moments of encouragement could be. Ethan smiled shyly and nodded, his fear easing just a bit. As Amanda and Barron caught up, they walked toward the hospital's cafeteria, where they found a quiet corner to talk. Ava and Lily sat nearby, munching on cookies and giggling together. "You've done so much since that day," Barron said, sipping his coffee. "The way you've turned your story into something that inspires others, it's incredible." Amanda smiled softly. "I learned from the best," she said. "You gave me a second chance, and I wanted to make the most of it. Helping others through the Second Chance initiative feels like the least I can do to honor that." Barron leaned back in his chair, nodding thoughtfully. It's become bigger than either of us imagined. People want to help. They just need to see that it's possible. Amanda's phone buzzed on the table, a reminder of how busy her life had become. Requests for speaking engagements, fundraising meetings, and updates on the families they had helped flooded her inbox daily. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, Amanda felt energized. Every message represented another opportunity to make a difference. "You know," Barron said, his eyes twinkling, "there's something I've been thinking about. What if we expand the initiative even further? Not just covering medical expenses, but helping families rebuild their lives entirely. Housing, job training, educational opportunities, the full package?" Amanda's heart skipped a beat. "That sounds ambitious." Barron grinned. "You know me. Go big or go home." Amanda laughed. "I love it. Let's do it." Over the next few months, the Second Chance initiative underwent a transformation. The program expanded to include a comprehensive support system for families in crisis. Not only would they receive financial assistance for medical needs, but they would also have access to temporary housing, career counseling, and scholarships for their children. The first family to benefit from the expanded program was a single father named Marcus, who had recently lost his home after a prolonged illness left him unable to work. The initiative provided Marcus and his 2 daughters with a safe place to live while helping him regain his footing. With the support of career counselors, Marcus found a new job in a field he loved, and his daughters were able to attend a nearby school with a scholarship from the initiative. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new Second Chance Village, a community built specifically for families in transition, Marcus stood on stage beside Amanda and Barron, sharing his story. "I thought I had lost everything," Marcus said, his voice trembling with emotion. "But thanks to the Second Chance initiative, I got my life back. My daughters have a home again. I have hope again. And I'll never forget the kindness that made it possible." The audience rose to their feet, clapping and cheering as Marcus wiped away tears. Amanda reached for his hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "That's what this is all about," Amanda said, turning to Barron. "Giving people hope and a chance to rebuild." Barron nodded, his heart full. "And we're just getting started." The success of the Second Chance Village inspired similar communities across the country. Each one became a sanctuary for families who had once felt hopeless, offering them the tools and support they needed to build a brighter future. Barron and Amanda continued to work tirelessly, traveling from city to city to oversee the projects and meet the families they were helping. One evening, after a particularly long day of meetings, Amanda and Barron sat on the steps of one of the new homes, watching the sun set over the village. "You know," Amanda said, "I used to think second chances were rare. But now I realize they're everywhere. You just have to be willing to give them." Barron smiled. "You're right. And sometimes, it takes someone like you to show the world what's possible." Amanda leaned back, gazing at the sky. "I'm grateful for every second chance I've been given. And I'm ready to keep paying it forward." Barron raised his coffee cup in a toast. To second chances, and to making the most of them. Amanda clinked her cup against his, her heart full. To second chances. And as the stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, they sat in comfortable silence, knowing that their work was far from over, but also knowing that they were exactly where they needed to be. Amanda felt the gravity of what she and Barron had created as she gazed at the rows of newly built homes in the Second Chance Village. Each house represented a new beginning, a fresh chapter in someone's life, a chance to rebuild after life had knocked them down. For Amanda, this journey had transformed her in ways she never expected. She had gone from a mother struggling to survive to a woman driven by purpose, determined to make every second count, not just for herself but for every family that walked through those doors. The initiative's growth had surpassed all expectations. What started as a lifeline for a few families had become a national movement. Across the country, families who once had no hope now had access to the support they desperately needed. Success stories began pouring in, single parents getting back on their feet, children thriving in their new environments, and entire communities coming together to lift each other up. Barron and Amanda were constantly on the move, visiting new second chance villages, holding town hall meetings, and listening to the stories of the people they helped. One story, in particular, left a lasting impression on Amanda. It was in Houston, Texas, where they met Maria, a young mother of 3 who had fled an abusive relationship with nothing but the clothes on her back. For months, she lived in her car with her children, struggling to find shelter and food. She had applied for every program she could find but had been repeatedly turned away due to long waiting lists and lack of resources. When Maria arrived at the Second Chance Village, she was on the verge of giving up. But something about the warmth and kindness of the staff gave her hope. "They didn't just give us a place to stay," Maria told Amanda during their meeting. "They made us feel like we belonged. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe." Maria's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. With the help of career counseling, she found a job at a local nonprofit, where she worked tirelessly to help other women in similar situations. Her children, once shy and withdrawn, began to thrive in their new school. Within a year, Maria had saved enough money to move into a home of her own. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new expansion of the Houston Village, Maria stood on stage, her voice trembling with emotion. "If it weren't for this initiative, I don't know where we'd be. Barron and Amanda gave us more than a house. They gave us back our dignity." Amanda wiped away a tear as the audience rose to their feet, applauding Maria's courage and strength. It was moments like these that reminded her why this work was so important. Back at the headquarters of the Second Chance Initiative, Barron and Amanda worked tirelessly on plans to take the program even further. Their latest project was a bold one, an international expansion into areas affected by natural disasters and economic hardship. They wanted to build Second Chance villages in communities around the world, offering the same level of support and hope to families everywhere. "This could change everything," Barron said, spreading blueprints across the table during a late-night planning session. "Imagine what we can do for communities hit by hurricanes or wildfires. Entire neighborhoods could rebuild faster, stronger, and more resilient than ever before." Amanda nodded, excitement bubbling in her chest. "We'll need to partner with international organizations, but it's possible. We've already proven it works here. There's no reason we can't do the same globally." Over the next few months, Amanda and Barron met with world leaders, humanitarian organizations, and philanthropists eager to support the cause. The response was overwhelming. Donations poured in, and partnerships were forged with organizations that specialized in disaster relief and sustainable development. The first international Second Chance Village broke ground in the Philippines, in a coastal town that had been devastated by a typhoon. The local community welcomed the project with open arms, eager for the chance to rebuild their lives. Within months, the village began to take shape, homes built to withstand future storms, a community center that doubled as an emergency shelter, and programs designed to help residents regain their independence. Amanda and Barron flew to the Philippines for the grand opening, standing side by side as they watched families move into their new homes. The air was filled with laughter and tears of joy, a celebration of resilience and hope. During the ceremony, a little boy named Carlos ran up to Amanda, holding a small bouquet of flowers. "Thank you for bringing us a home," he said shyly, his eyes shining with gratitude. Amanda knelt down, her heart swelling with emotion. "You're very welcome, Carlos. This is your home now, and it's a place where you can dream as big as you want." Carlos grinned, clutching the flowers tightly. "I want to be a pilot one day." Amanda laughed softly. "Then you'll be the best pilot the world has ever seen." As they flew back home, Amanda reflected on everything they had accomplished. It was more than she had ever imagined, yet she knew there was still so much more to do. The world was full of people who needed second chances, and she was determined to keep fighting for them. Barron, seated beside her, seemed to read her thoughts. "You're thinking about what's next, aren't you?" Amanda smiled. "Always." He chuckled. "Good. So am I. We're just getting started." And with that, the plane soared into the sky, carrying them toward the next chapter of their journey, a journey fueled by compassion, resilience, and the unwavering belief that second chances could change the world.